Have you ever felt like meal planning, but then found it to be too confusing and complicated? If that sounds like you, then we need to talk about how to simplify meal planning. Hi, I'm Dr. Murali, internal medicine doctor and obesity medicine specialist, and this is Dr. Murali Weighs In, where I weigh in on topics related to weight management, drawing from my own lifelong struggle with weight, as well as my professional experience as an obesity medicine physician. Today, I'm weighing in on 6 tips to help you simplify meal planning. Tip number 1, use yesterday's dinner as today's lunch. Rather than planning out 7 different lunches and 7 different dinners, why not cut that in half by recycling yesterday's dinner as today's lunch? You might think to yourself, that's boring. I need variety in my meals. Think about it. When you go to the grocery store, are you filling your cart with the same items that you got from the last trip? Or are you buying completely different products every single time? Also, the same ingredients doesn't always mean the exact same meals. Look at Taco Bell. They've been reinventing their menu for the last 50 years with the same ingredients. If they can do it, why can't we? Black beans can go in a taco, on a salad, heck, even in brownies. And let's not forget, with social distancing and avoiding the supermarket, you probably don't have a lot of variety in the groceries you have at home anyway. Simplifying your meals has other benefits too, like spending less time doing meal preparation because with practice, you become more efficient. Also with practice, you might waste less ingredients, which is good for your wallet. And of course, practice makes perfect. The more you make your meals, the more creative you'll become and the better tasting the food will be.
Bon appétit.
The idea of reducing the variety of our meals as a strategy for weight management is actually grounded in really good science. The National Weight Control Registry is the largest study on maintaining weight loss ever. It's shown that people who lose and maintain weight loss for longer than a year have less variety in their meals than people who lost weight but then regained it. Tip number 2, consider using protein shakes as your breakfast or as a snack between lunch and dinner. This is a good tool to use, especially if you're new to meal planning. A quick tip on how to read nutrition labels to see if a food product is a good source of protein. The grams of protein should be equal to or more than 10% of the calories. For example, if a product has 20 grams of protein, then it should have 200 calories or less. This is a really handy tool if you're comparing different protein shakes or protein bars or yogurts or fake meat, or really any product that claims to be a good source of protein. There's good science that shows that protein shakes can help us lose and maintain weight loss. Researchers think that this is because protein shakes are convenient, they're filling, and they can help simplify meal planning, not because they have some magical ingredient that boosts our metabolism. Let me be clear, you don't have to use protein shakes to lose weight. The main point is to simplify meal planning by reducing your day-to-day decisions around food. Tip number 3, simplicity and clarity go hand in hand. Meal plans should be clear about meal times as well as the start and end of the eating day, starting with breakfast and ending when you finish dinner. If you're new to this, you might think about creating a 8 to 12 hour time frame to eat all your meals. I also recommend spacing your meals by 3 to 4 hours. So for example, a 10-hour schedule could look like breakfast at 8, lunch at 11, mid-morning snack by 2, dinner at 5, brush your teeth by 6 because stores closed. That's the end of the eating day. These timings should serve as a reminder to follow your plan. Choose timings that work with your schedule as well as your hunger pattern because everybody's different. Whatever you decide, the point is to pick a schedule that you can stick to. The idea of creating store hours for your mouth is also grounded in good science. Some call it time-restricted eating or circadian rhythm fasting. Studies show that this pattern could actually help you not only lose weight, but control your blood sugar. If you have chronic disease conditions, you should consider talking to a doctor to see if this kind of plan would work for you. The last 3 tips are how to select the right meals for you. It might help to think about selecting your meals in the same way you would think about selecting items for redecorating your home. Whatever you choose, you need to like it needs to be functional, and it should be under budget. Tip number 4, choose meals you actually enjoy. Choosing food you like also means you have to be involved in the meal planning process, not somebody else. Tip number 5, plan meals that satisfy your appetite. A major function of food is to satisfy our hunger. If your meals don't do that, you'll eat more than you planned, or you'll eat something that you didn't plan on eating. The trick is to fill up on food and not on calories. What do I mean by that? Most people don't know that the weight of our food plays a major role in making us feel full. Also, just because something is heavy in weight doesn't mean that it has to be heavy in calories. If you've ever been hit in the head with a cucumber, then you know what I mean. The way to take advantage of this is to choose meals that have less processed foods in the ingredients, foods that you would find in the middle of the grocery store, but rather choose meals that have more vegetables, fresh, frozen, even low sodium canned, all of that works. The more, the better. Half of the volume of your meal should include vegetables and a variety of colors. When it comes to eating vegetables, don't be afraid to taste the rainbow. Vegetables have water, which add weight to your meal without the calories, allowing you to fill up on food, but not calories. Cauliflower rice, zucchini noodles, stir fry, stews are all great ways to take advantage of this. A lot of my patients love the idea of stews because it allows them to throw their ingredients into a slow cooker or instant pot and really simplify their meal prep. The added benefit is that the water in the broth helps infuse flavor into all the ingredients and adds weight without adding calories. Don't forget, slowing down also helps us feel full. Our meals really shouldn't take less than 20 minutes, the amount of time it takes for our stomach to tell our brain that it's full. Train yourself to slow down by setting a timer when you sit down to eat and trying not to finish before you hear the buzzer. Tip number 6, budget your calories like you would budget your money. In my previous video, I talked about how understanding how many calories we take in play a major role in meal planning and weight loss. If our weight is a medical problem, then the food is our medication and the dosing is the calories. Once you determine your calorie dose by using tools like the NIH Body Weight Planner or food logging apps like MyFitnessPal, some people might find it challenging to translate that dose into your meal plan. I get a lot of questions from patients like, "Hey doc, is this good to eat?" or "Is that okay to eat?" The way I answer these questions is really to go back to that decorating your house analogy. You might ask your designer, "Should I buy this $20,000 chandelier?" They might answer, "Go for it, especially if it's under your budget." But if your entire budget is $20,000, then you have a really expensive way of lighting up an empty house. It helps to think about planning meals to stay under your calorie budget in the same way you might think about planning your spending to stay under your financial budget. If you want to add calories to your meal plan, then there should be room in the budget for it. And if not, you'll have to reduce your calories from one meal in order to add the calories to another. A final note. It's hard to plan a meal if there's no food to plan with. Thousands of people across the country and around the world are struggling to put food on the table because of the economic impact of the coronavirus. If this is you, then please find help, go to a food bank. If you live in California, you can go to cafoodbanks.org. If you're not struggling with food insecurity, our food banks are struggling to keep up with the unprecedented demand. Try donating to a food bank. If you live in California, you can go to cafoodbanks.org. I'll post a link in the description below. California's food banks can turn $1 donations into 5 pounds of food. So a little bit goes a long way. Let's all try to do our part. That about wraps it up for this video. If you have tips on how to simplify meal planning that have worked well for you, maybe a stew recipe, leave it in the comments below. You might help somebody else. If you have questions or comments or challenges that you've had about meal planning, please leave those as well. If you like the content, please subscribe. Remember, this channel is to help our community stay well through social distancing and coronavirus and whatever challenges lie ahead. Thank you.